Well, the season starts on Friday, and we could not be more excited for Houston, the home opener this season. A weird 8 game football season this year, Josh. How we doing, man? 0-4.
We called it, right? We saw that coming, and I'm excited. First game of the season for the Beavs coming up this Friday. Reese's going to be packed, man. How much more could we ask for than a Friday night 7:30 kick, 7 whatever it is down in Core Vegas, man. Place is going to be electric. It's going to be popping, and it's not like we just lost to the Ducks last week.
No, I don't remember that at all, actually. I think I blacked out these first 4 weeks of this season. But hey, welcome back to Chainsaw Crew, y'all. If you are coming back to listening to an 0-4 football teams podcast, you are an OG. You're a homie. Hey, man, it's tough times. But here we are. After you lost the Fresno State game, it was like, yeah, 0-4 is inevitable. It's going to happen. And here we are. So appreciate you guys for coming back. Remember to follow us on X at Chainsaw Crew, on TikTok at Chainsaw_Crew, and on Facebook, Chainsaw Crew Podcast. Go ahead and give us 5 stars. You haven't done so yet. Go find the YouTube page, give us some subscribers. We might go live on that thing at some point. Not really sure. But hey, good news is, Josh, I booked my flights. I am going to the Wazoo home game November 1st. I will be in Corvallis. That'll be my one trip out to the state of Oregon this year. And looking forward to it, man. I don't care what the team's record is. Going to go out there and have some fun. So, yeah, man. Maybe we do a little live podcast or something pregame if you're going to go. I don't know. We haven't really thought about this at all. We haven't talked about it at all. This is just you and me for the first
You
time.
you want to know what's really funny is when you texted me that earlier, my first listen, this is just shows you how fried my brain is right now. I thought you meant the season cap down in Wazoo.
No,
Now you're
no.
breaking this news to me that it's actually the Corvallis showdown, which makes
Yes.
it a lot more feasible for me to be there. See, now we're talking.
Yeah.
I
See?
just this team has got my head surrounded with chaos, questions, confusions. My life is a mess right now. Like this podcast could not get any worse than what it is right now.
Well, I mean, is it worse than being 0-4? I mean, the one football team that I truly love and care about is just in the
Now, here's the
dumps right now,
question.
man.
Are we the best 0-4 team left in college football?
I mean, there's without a doubt, yeah. You can let's hang a banner for that, you know? First time since 2011 that this team has been 0-4. That's that's
Sucks.
that's a while. That's a
Sucks.
long time. And it's kind of funny. I was looking that up. I was like, when was the last time we were 0-4? Because you would think like under the Anderson days and even the first Smith season, you would think like maybe they started 0-4 there. No, they always kind of had a cupcake game to just get a win. It was like San Jose State or it was Portland State or Southern Utah. They always got like an easy cupcake win. That is the difference in this year's team and those teams who were bad in Oregon State football history is we didn't get a single cupcake to start this season, and we don't have one until Lafayette. So it's this is what happens when you have a difficult non-conference schedule to start your season. Now, Josh and I, when we go back and look at our old posts on the TikTok and our old podcast stuff, where we're saying, hey, win, win, loss, loss, 2-2 coming out of this thing, and maybe we shock the world, go down to Tech. No, that it's it's funny looking back and saying looking at our predictions and seeing what this team has become. But here we are, man, 0-4. And honestly, Josh, I didn't watch the entire game. I'll be honest. Did you watch the entire game?
I did.
Not a boy. Way to go. Way
Yeah.
to stick through it. I was in a situation where I was at a housewarming party with every single person in there as a Texas fan, and we finished the Utah and Texas Tech game, and Oregon had already scored when I was like, "Hey, can I switch this TV over to the Big Ten Network?" And my buddy Jackson, who was hosting, he's like, "Yeah, of course." And I'm the only guy wearing Oregon State stuff. I stick out because it's bright orange compared to the burnt orange. But it got to a point where like I was locked into the game,
For
and then
sure.
right before half, they scored right before half. It became 21-7, and there's guys on the couch watching Auburn and Oklahoma on their phone, and I was like, all right, guys, like you could change the TV over. It's fine. So I didn't see a ton of the game in the second half. I watched it like on my phone in the corner. I just put it on the table and like peeked at it. I did see the fake punt. After that, I kind of checked out. But honestly, man, when I watched some of the highlights running back, I was kind of encouraged in that first half with the defense, to be honest with you. I think there was a lot of good to be taken out of that first half. What did you get out of watching kind of just the energy of the team in the first half, Josh?
I think you saw this team come out and it kind of got what we were hoping for, right? We got a competitive quarter-ish, maybe little bit of a second quarter,
Yeah.
but then you saw that downhill slide that I think we were all expecting at some point. But defense came out firing. I mean, you give up that quick tutty to start the game, and then boys are flying around on defense. They're getting some interior pressure on Dante Moore, and they're stuffing some of the runs in the backfield also. So I think for the first time, it's like, oh, okay, well, I think I even tweeted it out. It's like this is kind of a quick flash of a Trent Bray defense that we know we've seen in the past. Trent Bray's got this defense going right now, and then flip it offensively. We saw them go out and do what we've been begging them to do the last 3 weeks, and they established a run game against a very good Oregon defense. I mean, that Oregon defense is no joke. So I'm sitting there the first couple of minutes and I'm like, okay, like I want to get my hopes up. They're making me feel like I should probably get my hopes up. But then you kind of sit back and then you slowly start Malik starts struggling. And that one touchdown we had with that busted coverage, if that doesn't happen, I don't know if we actually score because Oregon's defense, I think Oregon came out and they were expecting a cupcake to start, and they had all the rights to expect this to be a 3 to 4 hour scrimmage because that's what it was. And they were already headed down to Penn State before that game happened on Saturday, which I get that, right? What happened after that first quarter and a half is just so disgusting when you look at it. I think Malik finished with 61, 67 yards passing.
It was
Um,
bad, dude. It was
hello,
ugly.
hold on a second. You're telling me now money has nothing to do with this, right? We're paying somebody $1.5 million. Does that register with a lot of people? $1.5 million to go out and have 60 some odd yards passing. That is no bueno.
Yeah.
And we have both been critical of Malik and his struggles, but we've also backed him. And now I'm at a point where I don't think I can do that anymore. It is beyond ridiculous what we're seeing. What he did at Duke last year, granted, maybe the team that was surrounding him was a little bit more athletic, had a little bit better of an offensive line, but Malik is a very, very, very good quarterback. And what we've seen these first 4 weeks have been everything but that. And it's hard for me to come on this podcast, even on social media, and say, hey, you guys, Malik's a dude. He can go out and figure it out because he hasn't. Now, are we going to get this long stretch here in late September, October, November against some of these lesser quality teams where Malik can figure it out? I hope so. But if he doesn't, man, I don't know in the ranks of quarterbacks that have been through Oregon State, just when you think about a competitive level that Malik has, at least what we saw the last year or two, where he ranks in that ranking of quarterbacks, but right now he's down with the dog poop because it's awful. It's laughable is what it is. And I don't know how you make it better because on Saturday for the first time in 3 weeks, Malik had time to throw the ball and he's missing reads. He's letting guys sit in soft zones wide open and throwing across the field for some reason. I don't get it. I don't understand. And that's where my frustration still sits right now. I don't know if it's a Gundy thing. I don't know if it's a Malik thing. He's still not comfortable with his offense. But 4 weeks in, man, with spring training, everything, fall camp, you have to have it figured out. And now you're coming into a home game Friday night, Rob. That's no freaking joke. And to me, and I don't know how the rest of the people feel about it, but this is a season defining game on Friday. And if you lose this, it is red flag, all hell breaks loose.
I mean, and that's justified for being 0-5. And I do think a lot of the feels like the narrative of the season right now is just like we gotta just move past those four games because look, yeah, we understood two of them are gonna be nearly impossible to win. It was just, a good thing that they covered some spreads in America against Oregon. But honestly, it could have been a lot worse. And I know that's been kind of the message from everyone. Been like, yeah, it could have been a lot worse when you look at the box score. Oregon just runs up and down all day because our defense is on the field all game long. And it's just like Gunderson. I haven't been on him that much this season, but golly, man, mix it up. Like, what are we doing? It's run, run, pass, run, run, pass, run, run, pass, run, run, pass. He's afraid to throw it on first down because I think Malik isn't comfortable with these receivers. And other side note is the receivers aren't that great. They're not getting a ton of separation, but at the same time, Malik Murphy's getting paid a lot of money to throw guys open. We need you to put it in good spots. We've seen Dante Moore do it. We saw Sungo Pulatele do it. Even Baron Morton did it. You got to throw into tight spaces and make a throw every now and then. You're going to have to force the issue on one coverage. And Malik had moments too where he could have ran for a first down. He had plenty of room in front of him. Doesn't do it. And then he's trying to play hero ball like Trent Bray mentioned today in his press conference. It's just like, buddy, they told you at the beginning of the season, all you have to do is just drive the bus. Just be the bus driver. Right now, he's crashing the bus. Against Oregon, he absolutely was the issue because Jacob Strand comes back at left tackle, and you could just tell, dude, he is the motor behind this offensive line. He makes them so much better. They're so much stronger with him. The pockets were clean. And even with a clean pocket, Malik still has that feeling of, I need to throw off my back foot. That ball to Taz Reddick that you mentioned, it's a great play design. It gets the secondary confused, and then Taz is wide open on the goal line, and he still throws it short because he's throwing off his back foot. And it wasn't like there was a ton of pressure in his face. Just step into it and throw him into the end zone and make it easier. I mean, that throw should be a touchdown all day long, and he's not making that throw. That's an issue for me right now. And some people are saying, well, like, oh, yeah, look what Gunderson did it with Dante Moore at UCLA. I don't think those things are correlated. Right now, Malik just needs to be the quarterback that we thought we got from Duke. He's just not. There's a confidence issue. And at some points, he looks like a checked out millionaire playing some of these series. It's just like the play calls are just boring. Trying to establish the run in the second half when you're down, 38 to whatever it was, 31-7. It's just like, let's just get back, throw the ball, try to find some connections here. Let's stop trying to run the ball when you're down by so many points. It's not working against these fronts of Texas Tech and Oregon. Try something else, or try do something different in the run game that isn't just inside zone, left or right side. It's like running up the guards' asses this year has just not worked, and you're begging Hank to basically break a tackle to get 5 yards, and that's an
Yeah,
issue.
who had 14 carries for 38 yards, by the way.
And that's again, it's an issue. It's an issue. And the 131st rush offense in the nation right now, it's bad, dude. And I get it. This offensive line is really young. They had to face really two very talented teams up front. And yeah, we saw them have a lot of success against Fresno State, which is a more comparable program right now. And I hope to see that again on Friday and in the future here on these teams that you can definitely line up against. Houston's going to be another challenge. We'll get to them in a little bit, but there's a lot of things that this team can really build on, though. Okay, this first quarter, I hope when they went into the film session that they didn't show the second half at all. There's no point of showing the second half. Yeah, it was a little bit of lack of effort in the fourth quarter for sure from the boys. They definitely checked out. The game was over, which is, it's normal. It's humans. But in that first quarter, man, a lot of things to take to be like, look, you competed with one of the best teams in the nation. You can do it. You did it on the road, and you were tied at the end of the first quarter after a really good drive. Josh, that 3rd-and-8 screen that we ran to Hankerson, thing of beauty. It was perfect. Where is that the rest of the game? Like, take an aggressive defensive line and take them out of the play. That's what screens do. I don't know why Gunderson doesn't do it. And again, I've said this last year too. I think Gunderson sometimes has a game plan like he's a backup quarterback. He thinks like a backup quarterback because he is a backup quarterback. And sometimes he gets just a little too safe, just way too conservative on a lot of things. Got to start getting in more of attack mode like we saw against Washington State last season. Get into that attack mode. Let's throw the ball over the middle of the field. Try to get guys in space as much as possible because there's just not a ton of that. There's not a ton of yards after catch. There's not a ton of space to run for Hankerson or Salah a lot. There just hasn't been a lot of space. They're either facing a defender within 4 or 5 yards or it's like contested catches and incompletions. It's been tough, man. But on the defensive side of the ball, I texted you before the game, Josh. I just hope we make them sweat a little bit. And I think we did that. And then Conrad Hussey comes in from Florida State, only gets like 2 practices in. He's wearing number 12, which means Tyrese Ivey is done for the year, and Trent Bray confirmed that today. Conrad does a couple of things decently, does a couple of things, like he hasn't played in a while.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that he had to play. He got 2 practices in this week and he's on the field. I didn't see Rajon Davis out there. I think he's injured. So Aiden Sullivan took a lot of snaps. Had a solid game. He's a little bit just like a thumper kind of linebacker, but he's a pretty sure tackle guy. And then corners again, facing just a wide receiver group, Josh, that is just way too good for them. Trey Glasper and Jalil Tucker getting picked on a little bit yet again. But I will say this about those two kids, man. Those two kids are tough. Okay.
They
They keep
battle,
on
man.
they keep on coming back, man. And they've had a tough go to start the season. I know Jalil Tucker has an interception. Trey Glasper has done some decent things. He's had some PBUs, but they have had a tough go of it these last 2 weeks. They've been picked on a little bit by just much better quarterbacks and receivers. But you know what? This is going to make them better. Trey Glasper, like Trent Bray mentioned today, was 17 years old playing against Cal. 17. I'm 31. Josh is 31. Like, he's so young, dude, compared to these two idiots talking about him. Like, I think he's got a very bright future ahead of him because this playing time only means he's going to get better. Josh, what Jim Wilson said during the game was physicality wasn't the issue, it's the speed. What are your thoughts? Like, you watching the game, do you think you're more encouraged about our defensive line going up against a unit like Houston or App State or Wake Forest?
You got to feel better, right? And you saw glimpses of this defense look good against Texas Tech also. So we talk about week to week improvement. We've seen 2 weeks of improvement defensively, which is this is great because if the offense isn't going to do crap for you, then defensively you got to go out and you have to get stops for this offense to have any kind of hope of scoring. And I think what we saw Saturday gives me a little hope moving forward. If
Same.
this defensive line can continue to get pressure on the quarterback, be able to get through that offensive line, if the corners are going to get picked on every game, if any team goes back and watches film, they're like, we're going to attack these guys until they can prove to us that they can stop us, which I don't blame them. And when you're looking at Saturday, also, those wide receivers for Oregon, man, they're quick. And some of those balls, Dante Moore, he's throwing great balls, but he's just throwing them up and like just you go do your thing and they're not going to stop you. So thankfully, you don't have to deal with a talent gap like that the rest of the season, right? And that's what sucks. When we're talking about this, and I called somebody out on X this morning. This fan base, I'm going to say it right here. I'm going to make it official. Our fan base sucks, bro. There's nothing about this fan base that is enjoyable. You got one side that is happy go lucky that they don't care. You got the other side where the freaking burn everything down, start fresh, and rebuild somewhere. Then you got the people in the middle that, yeah, I have been critical of this team, but also you have to find that light at the end of the tunnel when nothing is providing that light for you. We're not asking this team to be competitive at a power four level ever again, Rob. It's just not going to happen until this team comes in and they have somebody willing to drop money on them. It's just not. And that's just the harsh reality that people don't understand right now. This team is going to have to compete with what they have, and it sucks. Next year in the new Pac, we rebuilt Pac 12. I don't know where this team sits against some of these teams because you saw San Diego State go out and beat Cal somehow. What in the frick is going on
What?
there?
Where did that come from? That was
I,
unbelievable.
you can't tell me that really happened, right? Because that's not the same Cal team I've seen the last 3 weeks.
That wasn't
And
the same San Diego State team who got obliterated at Wazoo.
you got San Diego State that has I no idea what they're doing. So is that a one-off game for Cal, San Diego State? We don't know. We're gonna find out, I guess, what happens. But where going forward does this Oregon State team fit into its new conference? I don't know. It feels right now like they're bottom feeders, especially after this year when I expect that transfer portal will kill them. And it's going to kill them. You're going to have to go out and find people, but you got to understand that it's going to take a lot from you and you're going to have to try to rebuild every year. So going forward, offensively, it's got to be figured out. And it starts with freaking Malik Murphy. If he cannot figure it out at any point in the next few weeks, We are looking 0-12 straight in the eyes. And how disgusting does that sound? Because
Well, it will say Lafayette. I think they can trot anybody out at quarterback, and Oregon State can beat them.
maybe
And I think
what
Sam Houston as well. I think there's two free W's on the schedule, but other than that, yeah, maybe.
I can't do it until they prove to me they can win a football game. Wake Forest feels like they could probably go out and win that, but you got to travel. I don't.
You mean
This is
App
where
State? Yeah,
App State, excuse me,
yeah.
sorry, App State. I There's just so many concerning things when you look at this football team right now that I can't do it. I just can't, and it sucks. But then again, you got the flip side of it, and it's like, why give up on this team? Why do what everybody else wants you to do and give up on this football team? We're at a critical point, Rob, and I feel like we've talked about it so much the last 2 years. This season feels like a stupid big season for so many reasons. One, you're going into a new conference next year. You're not. You are staying in your conference, but with the new additions coming into the conference, which may be great because some of these teams are playing at a level where you can probably go out and compete a little bit. Second, you talk about needing money. This fan base doesn't want to drop a single dime on this team right now, and it sucks. It sucks. I'm willing to bet a huge chunk of money that Friday night during this black and orange out that they're trying to have, it is going to look absolutely stupid on Fox. And that sucks. That
ESPN.
sucks. God dang it. See, I don't know what I'm doing. I need to go hang out with Gundy because me and him can't figure it out right now, okay? I don't know what I'm
That's what
talking
I'm here for,
about.
buddy. That's what I'm here for.
I'm run Fox ESPN, bro. Come on. It sucks. It sucks. I don't I I picked them to lose this week because I'm not going to be around for score predictions because my life's crazy. Rob is going to take us home here shortly. I
Because
picked
Josh
them.
is a good man. He's dealing with good Humaritans things, and that's what most of you guys don't understand what Josh has to do tonight.
I picked them to lose. I don't. I don't. I picked them to lose because they've given me nothing to pick them to win, but I think they're going to win if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to me, to anybody but me, but I think they're going to win. I just can't pick them on paper to win because they have done absolutely nothing to prove to me that they can. If they lose this week, Rob, we are in trouble. They have, they should have every motivation in the world to come out this week. This is week one for them, and I hope everybody in that locker room, that coaching staff understands it. This is week one. You're starting fresh. If they can get the 6 wins, 7 wins, Rob, thank God. Thank
I
God.
hope they get to seven. I have a bet on it. I mean,
If they can, thank Jesus himself because right now, and I think it's overshadowed again. I'm sounding like a broken record by the last 4 weeks, and this whole season's going to be that way. We didn't realize the talent gap at this Oregon State team against some of these higher end schools, and it sucked. I think a lot of it is I'm guilty of it. I think Malik, once we got Malik last year, Malik's going to come in. We're going to do it. Just going off what he did at Duke, we're
because
going
it
to
felt
do
like
it.
last year we were just a quarterback away from like, being a decent team. But
That's all
then,
we needed was a quarterback. That's what we've been saying the
literally,
last couple of years. Just give me a quarterback. We got that guy, right? Gundy got his guy.
and yeah,
Yeah,
it was some bad.
we're seeing Gundy not able to call an offense for his guy to do anything productive. Nothing. 6 for 15, bro. Are you kidding me on Saturday? You can't run the ball because you can't establish a run. So what gives? That's what I'm talking about. What gives? What happens on Friday night? And I'm praying that they win on Friday. Whatever happens on Friday night in an empty Research Stadium in Corvallis will dictate the rest of the season. You're going downhill right now. If you beat Houston, you're getting a little bit of momentum going back up. Can they ride that momentum the rest of the season against teams 100% before the year start they should crush? Can they go out, find ways to win? Because this team has no idea how to win right now. You have to find something. You
Yeah.
have to find a way to win.
That's the other side of this right now is when a team is struggling like Oregon State, they don't have experience in closing out games, winning. We kind of saw it against Fresno State. They should have won that game. They had the lead with a minute to go, and they let Fresno State just run down the field and score and kick a field goal. That worries me going forward. That inexperience of knowing how to win a game here in late September is definitely an issue. I think we even saw that with like when Corey Hall took over for Gary Anderson. They had that lead late against Stanford, but they had no idea how to win a game. So Ryan Nall fumbles, and then you start, yeah, you know how it goes. That's what worries me with a struggling football team, one that hasn't gotten a win yet. They get into this moment where like we have a lead. What do we do with it? First of all, you got to get to that point again, and then you got to finish. That's the main thing right now. And that's I have a hard time like convincing. I did. You'll see my score prediction later, and you'll hear it later. But I just went back and forth. I'm like, can this team put together 4 quarters of good football? Can they do it? Because it feels like, hey, Will Haverland had a great day of snapping the ball. That seems to be shored up, right? That was the issue why you lost the Fresno State game, essentially, right? Okay. And then we have the issue of, oh, that's the most obvious fake punt spot in the world. And Jamie Christian's group is just not ready at all for it, which, again, I've pleaded my case about Coach Christian many times. At least Coach Tawaki's group seems to be getting better. I
Yeah.
don't think Jamie's Christian group's getting that much better, but yeah, man, that's what worries me is a team who doesn't have a win, doesn't know how to win. But to round out this Civil War, and before you get out of here, Josh, I got a DM from a really great Beaver fan. I'll leave him anonymous as of night right now, but he DM'd me saying, I've seen far more talented Beaver teams get their ass kicked by far less talented Duck teams. And I agree 100%.
100%.
I think the Beavers showed a lot of life in that first half, and they had a little bit of juice to them. They got that big stop, and you could see the boys kind of celebrating on the field, and then the offense sputtered, didn't do too much after that. But there's things to build on here. Again, that Texas Tech game really to me came down to 3 long plays that didn't work out for the boys. Again, this game comes down to more plays than that, but there's so many things to build on from this. There are a lot of good to take out of an unfortunate 41-7 loss. But this is what you get when you play 2 teams that just spend a lot of money. And like you said, Josh, if you're an Oregon State fan and you want to see that level of play at your university here for the Orange and Black for Oregon State, guess what? You're gonna have to play the game. That's the unfortunate reality of college football, and stomaching that is the hardest thing. If we don't have the money, you will not be able to compete for bigger and better things. There's people at Texas Tech after they beat the brakes off of Utah somehow. They're saying how they've never ever seen a Texas Tech defense that good. How do they get that,Ch?
Moolah. They have a friend
Ching
name. What's his
ching
name
ching ching
again?
ching ching. Cody
I forgot his name.
Campbell.
Cody.
Until
Oh
he's
yeah.
dead, they're gonna keep on doing ching 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 ching. They're gonna have the best players every single year. Same with Oregon. It's gonna happen because whoever has the bigger pockets wins the bigger games. That's just how it is, guys. This is how it is. Josh, before you get out of here, I know you got to take care of some business. We'll pause it before you get out of here just so it doesn't mess up the recording. But any last thoughts going into Houston now? Big game Friday night.
Yeah, it's just weird saying that it's a big game and we're asking this team to start over week one, right? We thought Cal was a big game, which I get. It's just week one, come in, Malik Murphy, this offense, it's like it's gonna be good. Well, that didn't happen and it hasn't happened. So now you're asking this team to flush the last 4 weeks, okay? If I'm Bray, I'm in there just begging them. You guys, we're 0-0 right now. It's just the reality of it. We gotta go out and find ways to win. I don't know how that is, Rob. I don't know what they have to do, what the motivation is, but you just have to. Malik has to figure it out. That's most important. The only way you win football games is if you put points on the scoreboard, and it starts with him. Okay. The defense feels like it's finally turning, it's finally figuring it out. They're going to get it done. I think they have a really good chance to start first forcing some turnovers, get some pressure on some quarterbacks. But this run offense for Houston could be trouble. That concerns me a little bit going into this week. I You're asking the defense to go out and take a big task on and give you opportunities to come out and win a game. I plead, I probably shouldn't be because I'm not going to the game on Friday, but do your parts and show up for this team, man. We talk about it week in and week out. I'm begging you on social media to do it. Do not give up on this team. I am willing to bet that this team wants to give up on itself if they haven't already. Don't let them do that. It is only going to bring misery to this fan base, to the university. You have a university that is feels like it's okay with being mediocre right now. But on the flip side of that, I don't, and we've seen some articles this week. Kerry Eggers put out an article. I don't think it's time to get rid of Bray. You got to let him figure it out. You
What does
just
he?
have
I didn't
to.
see that article. What does he say?
I'll send it to you. It's not time. It's too early. We've given him zero opportunity to go out and do what he needs to do. And
I
I
agree.
agree with that.
I agree.
I was so critical of Bray the last 3 weeks. I was so blinded, Rob, by that talent gap each week, week in and week out. Think about what he feels like probably trotting these guys out in the field when he's going up against rosters that have 30 million, if not more money on
That's
the
what I'm
field.
saying, man. Like he's used to having guys like Easton Mascarenas Arnold out
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
like Katana Ladapo. He's used to having guys like that, and now
Yeah.
he doesn't.
You
It's
don't.
it's
You just
hard.
don't. You don't have it, and you're not gonna have it. So he's taking these guys on the field. I think Jerry did a good job last week, just reminding me, you probably also, that you just got to give it time. And nobody wants time because they want results now. And I know more than anything, Bray wants results. He wants dubs in that win column. I don't question that whatsoever. We just have to be patient. We have to give it time. If it's a, nobody wants to hear it. If it's another year of this next year, then so be it. It sucks, but if that's what it takes to get them closer and closer and closer to where we want them to be, it's just what it is. And patience sucks. I struggle with it in my normal life. I don't want to be patient. When you love something so much, Rob, it sucks watching it struggle. It sucks.
Yeah,
And it
yeah.
feels like it's dying right now. But we can't be blinded by that. We can't be blinded by what everybody is saying outside of Beaver Nation. And it sucks. I want to talk crap to people. I miss that. I don't have that fire in me because I I got nothing to back it up with. I want to, hey, we're gonna go out and beat you. No, we're not, because I know we're not. So us as a fan base have to unite right now, and we have to take that stand and be willing to just grind this out. And I said it earlier in my tweet, you have to embrace the suck right now, because if you're not willing to embrace that suck right now, see you later. There's a team down south that has a winning culture that you can go be a fan of, and then I better not see your face in orange and black ever again. That's just the reality of it, and that's how I feel. And I'm sorry if you don't like it and follow me, don't listen to the podcast. I'm sorry if I ruined it for us, Rob, but I'm just tired of people complaining. I don't care what the team looked like 30 years ago. I don't care what it was in the Gary Anderson era. I don't care. It's done. We're stuck right now. We're in neutral. Got to give it time. Time is money right now, especially when you don't have money. Time is money. And that's just what it is. That's just what it is. But I hope the Beavs win, dude. Sorry for my rant before I leave. If the Beavs win on Friday, I think is a momentum changing point in this season, and we will look back and say this is what started this 3 game win streak, 4 game, 2 game, whatever it is, that allowed us to see some dubs on the schedule. So I hope we see it. I don't want my weekend to start off poorly. I don't know you don't want yours to start off poorly. There may not be a soul that watches that game on ESPN either. But go out. Malik, please do your job.
Earn your
Defense.
paycheck, bro. Earn that money, man.
Dude, you're not living rent free right now. I'm sorry. You're getting paid to go out and win football games for us. Please do it. I love this team, man. I love the university. Everybody wants it to be successful. We just have to give it time.
Wise words, buddy. I'm gonna take a quick pause here, and then we'll get into the Houston game. But Josh, what have we been saying these last few weeks?
Stay in the
Stay in the
fight.
fight, baby. Go
Stay in the
Beavs.
fight.
We'll be right back. I'm gonna go take a little bathroom break. All right, it's just you and me now, and whoever's with you. What's up? It's just Rob. Josh is doing amazing things, y'all. I don't think there's a lot of behind the scenes that a lot of people don't hear about from Josh, and he's doing the Lord's work with a lot of foster child things, and it's a tough situation that he's in, but just go out and you know have him in your thoughts and your prayers, and the child that he is currently in a little bit of a battle with the parents, and it's a whole thing. I won't go into it, but let's get into Houston. Okay, these people out here. Okay, this is what I've been seeing recently on X too, and some YouTube comments like on a Trent Bray post game presser in Oregon, which by the way, the post game area for Oregon for the coaches it's the most ridiculous setup in the country. I was watching Mike Gundy's the other week just to see what he was saying. He can't hear a single person in there. And then you listen to Trent Bray's. It's hard to hear in there. I remember vividly watching Jonathan Smith's last press conference with Oregon State in that room, and it's the worst thing ever. It's just terrible in there. And I saw a comment. It was under the Beaver's Edge YouTube page that they posted, and like someone said, like, so happy to see this happening to Oregon State. What? What are you talking? Like, what did we do to you, bro? What did Oregon State ever do to anybody? That's just unbelievable. But my favorite comment, it's not my favorite, it's actually my least favorite, but the one I hate the most is this is why you were left out of conference realignment when they see us lose, 45-14 to Tech and 41-7 to Oregon. This is why you were left out of realignment. That is what you'll hear from the dumbest college football fan out there. Again, Oregon State and Washington State are dealing with something that they've never experienced. Trotting out mid to okay level G5 rosters in this 2 year hiatus is just not an easy adjustment. And albeit, Washington State's dealing now with an entire new coaching staff like Oregon State was last season. And, Washington State is kind of seeing the issues and they're seeing the problems with that. With a new coaching staff becomes new players, comes, some struggle. And Washington State saw that against UW. It's sad to watch. It's the same thing with Oregon State. It's sad to watch them play their in-state rival in September and really not have a shot to beat them. I know Washington State did it last year, but they had a good squad and they had a returning coach and all that good stuff. But this year it's different for them. Okay. When you look back at those two rivalries, Apple Cup and the Civil War, these last 7 to 8 years from both programs, yeah, it's been pretty competitive. I mean, probably the most competitive time in the Civil War was like 98 to 2010, 2009. That was the most competitive time of the Civil War because it was pretty back and forth back then. Nowadays, it just doesn't feel like it's ever going to get back to that point. And I understand they're going to continue the rivalry. I think it's probably a good thing to do it. I think I'm the minority in that group. I think initially I was like, maybe we shouldn't play them. They're not in the same conference, but it's going to be hard to get high profile teams to come to Corvallis every single season. Because look, until you get more conference members, you're going to have 5 non-conference schedules, 5 non-conference games in your schedule. And that's hard to fill. It is really hard to fill. I'm not even sure what they're going to do next season. They don't have Oregon on the schedule next season, and they got 2 more non-conference games they have to add. So who are they going to play in those 2 extra games? It's hard to know right as of right now. They have work to do still, but when you look at those two rivalries, the Apple Cup and the Civil War, it's just so sad what it's come to, man. It sucks. But this is why you were left out of conference realignment because you can't compete with them. It's like, no, this is what you get when you take a team out of a conference and basically relegate them forcibly. This is what you get. And no one is, Oregon State and Washington State are not fully to blame for this. Okay. I will reiterate my confidence in Coach Bray here. He's still got to find a really good formula here with this coaching staff. He's still got to do that. That's still on the docket for sure. And I hope Scott Barnes and President Murphy can get off their ass and actually find and surround him with the proper resources. But this is not why we were left out of realignment, guys. That is not it at all. There's a much deeper story behind that. Okay. And don't listen to those people. Don't give in to those idiots. Again, that is the dumbest college football fan there is. That's more of an NFL fan talking about college football. That's what I kind of get out of that. But now I will get into the Houston game. Sorry. The run game for Houston, like Josh mentioned, is going to be tough. But hey, the run of playing extremely talented teams is over. These last 8 games, none of these teams are like, wow, like Oregon and Tech. None of them are like that. Yeah, I understand the Beavers are currently a 13.5 point underdog at home. Houston is a really solid team, but they've played Stephen F. Austin, Rice, shout out to Jack Conne, and they've played Colorado. Okay, Colorado's struggling right now. They had a big win at home against Wyoming. Oh boy. But Colorado's having some issues under Coach Prime. And Rice and Stephen F. Austin are just local Texas schools to get easy dubs on. So don't know how much to put into Houston's early season success. They do have some size for sure. They got some good speed. It's a decent Big 12 team. But I think an Oregon State roster right now can line up with these guys at home and hopefully compete against them. It's really just about motivation from an 0-4 team. Can you pick yourself up and get out there and play a good game when you're 0-4, knowing that, the rest of the season is really just about trying to get better? And Oregon State can do a lot of good things in this game without showing it on the scoreboard. They've done it in the last two games, obviously, but they can probably do that again this week. But we're still building towards something. And the schedule, again, gets easier, even easier after Houston. So it's an important week for Trent Bray and his staff, man. I think this is probably his most important week as a head coach. Last season, we had all that injury stuff, a lot of, easy excuses to make. This week's a little bit different. It's 0-4. You have a home game on a Friday night. Your students are back in town. They're trying to do the, orange and black one side to the other. It's going to be easy on the new side because those seats are black. The student section side, the east side of the stadium, that might look a little funky because it's going to be all orange and black seats. Because I do hear from some birdies that ticket sales aren't great, which to be expected on a Friday night. It is what it is. Okay, I'm not expecting a big turnout for Oregon State and Houston on a Friday night. You're 0-4. I understand it, but what Josh said and what I've been saying, I would I would give everything to be out there on Friday night if I could, but I live too far away. If you can go, go, man. It means a lot to the players, for guys and fans to show up when you're struggling. That is where they get their juice from. If they see a decently sized crowd when they're 0-4, it gives them a little bit of life. And it only helps them. By people staying at home, that doesn't do anybody on the team good. Okay? That's it's basic just energy. It's basic get up for a game. You don't want to run out to the field to an empty stadium. It doesn't feel great. But motivation and confidence is everything for this team. And you could honestly see it a little bit in that Oregon game. When things were getting going a little bit for the defense, you can see them celebrating. You can see the juice kind of flowing a little bit. Unfortunately, like we talked about, the offense just didn't keep that buzz going. The one thing that I worried about from the Oregon game and from prior games, EJ Warner kind of got around and ran around a little bit with Fresno State. Okay. Sungapula with Cal had a big run at one point. We didn't really see Morton run a ton with Texas Tech, but we did see Dante Moore run a little bit with Oregon. Quarterback run has been kind of an issue with Oregon State, and it's always been in the situation where, hey, we got some decent pressure. The pocket is collapsing on a quarterback. He scoots out. There's nobody there to spy him. There's nobody there to stop him, and he jogs essentially for 30 yards. And Connor Wegman for Houston, the Texas A&M transfer, will kill you with his legs. He is a good runner. He's been very efficient in 3 games. He has the ability to get outside of the pocket and go after maybe a broken play. And they will also just run him in quarterback zone. The quarterback spy is just a necessity in this game. You cannot let him beat you with his legs because, again, Houston's run game is good. Dean Connors is averaging 5.4 yards per carry, again, against 3 schools who probably can't stop the run that great. But if the Beavs can't tackle initially and gang, group, get to the ball, hats on hats, got to stop the run early in this game. Got to make them as one-dimensional as possible because if you're going to make Houston throw the ball more, then you're in a good spot because Connor Wegman has had some issues throwing the ball in his Texas A&M days. That's where he struggles, throwing the ball, pushing the ball downfield. That's why he had to leave A&M. They didn't really trust his arm. You got to get him in that situation. You got to get him in long. Don't run for it. If it's second and long, third and long, you cannot let him scamper for 20 yards, man. We got to stop that immediately. That is priority number 1 against Houston for me. Don't let the quarterback run around you all day. Now, their defense on the other side has forced 6 turnovers. They've had 5 interceptions and 1 forced fumble. Okay, we know about Malik's issues with throwing the ball to the wrong team. Probably should have had a couple of picks against Oregon. He kind of got lucky. The ball hit the ground. Malik's got to really clean it up, man. There's just no way around it. He cannot have that kind of game ever again like he did against Oregon. Don't be the hero. Just make the first read, make the right read. Let's get Trent Walker back involved, man. That's so funny. The initial worry for this football team was too much Trent Walker all the time. And now, these last couple of weeks, we haven't seen a ton of Trent Walker because teams are good enough to just stack on him, make you beat us with the other guys. That's what they're basically saying. And honestly, it's a great game plan against Oregon State. I would do the exact same thing. Wegman does throw the ball to their tight end a little bit. Tanner Koziel, he's got 17 catches for 148 yards. I think he leads the team in receptions. So a lot of tight end throws, a lot of quarterback run, good running back in Dean Connors. Their defense can get after you a little bit, forcing turnovers. And I watched their game against Colorado. I do think the Beavs can line up against these guys if the motivation is there. I firmly believe that the Beavers can have a much closer and competitive game here. It's really just about, like I said earlier, putting four quarters together. No more bullet holes in feet. We got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot, guys. If there's anything, and these are my keys to the game, it is sustaining momentum. If you get it, keep it. Old Mo is a big time factor in college football. Everyone knows that. If you want your home crowd who is going to show up to get some life, you need to have that sustainability with momentum. My other key is to create something else in the offense. The creativity has not been there. And the run game has not been there for the most part. Okay, they did some nice things against Oregon for sure. They did nothing against Texas Tech. This is not Texas Tech and Oregon. Okay, Houston's going to have a decent front seven for sure. You need to find success in the run game right now, this week. Figure it out on the run. Because if you can't run the ball and Malik's going to struggle like he did, again, you're scoring 7 points, maybe less every single game. You got to figure that side out. Maybe stop running up a guard's ass, like I mentioned. Let's try to get to the edge a little bit more. I know Salah Allah had like a 5 or 6 yard carry on an edge run. Maybe we got to mix in more of those because it seems like zone, scheme, blocking just hasn't been the best formula for this offensive line so far. But again, it's going to take time. It's a young group, and hopefully they stay healthy so we can keep on improving these guys so they can stop shuffling guys around at different spots. It's been tough. And my last key is to keep fighting. Just keep going, boys. Don't worry about, a bad play, a negative play. Don't let it snowball on you. Keep guys in front of you. Don't let them throw the ball over your head if they even have the chance. If Connor Wegman is throwing the ball over your head, you have issues. Let's not let that happen. Keep guys in front. Tackle immediately. If it's a one-on-one situation, man, I don't love our chances with this current teams in tackling, but hats to the ball. Just gang tackle. Let's get some energy, man. Fire in your hair. Fire under your belt. Let's go. Josh's keys to the game. It's a season-defining game. It's a must-win football game, he says. And Malik has to step up. We need to see that Duke quarterback of last year, and he mentioned that last time. My worries of the game, Houston's run game, like I mentioned, it could be an issue if we don't tackle. And I worry about the lack of energy in Reser Stadium. We all know what Trent Walker said on John Canzano's podcast. It is disappointing to see an empty stadium, 100%. If it's empty again, which probably will be, like I mentioned, I worry about that lack of energy. Josh's worry, which I'm reading now for the first time, says it shouldn't be a worry, but it's the same as mine, Reser Stadium. But now we get to our score predictions, which is brought to you by the Hannah Grace family, a nonprofit located in the Pacific Northwest in Oregon City, Oregon. Hannah Grace is a local organization that serves foster children and children facing instability through a free music program, visitations, support, and more. Be on the lookout for more info on their upcoming annual fall fundraising banquet on October 11th, which is coming up at hannahgrace.org, HANNAHGRACE.org. Josh, like he mentioned, he did pick the Beavers to lose 35-24. He also says, I think the Beavs can squeak it out, but I just can't pick them to win until I can prove that they can win. And he did mention that. He was saying that if it didn't make sense, that's what he was trying to say. And I'm on the same wavelength with him a little bit. I actually picked the Beavers to win this game. I think this is the game in a must-win situation. Trent Bray, I want him to do well. I might as well go with my heart and not my head here and just pick the boys to win the game. Because if nobody's going to believe in them, I will. That's what I feel like. 31-28. Caleb Ojeda kicks a late field goal, and the Beavers hold them, and we win the game. And we can get going a little bit. That's the goal here. We got to get going a little bit, okay? 1-4 obviously doesn't look great, but it looks a hell of a lot better than 0-5. And what's better than 1 win, 2 wins, 3 wins, 4? We got to get going. It's got to start snowballing the right way. So we got to stop this. We got to stop this flood. Too much negativity going on. And look, I talked about it earlier. Texas Tech beat the brakes off of Utah. Oregon's a great team, man. They're going to go into Penn State with a tight game probably and play them tough. Those are 2 games you're not going to win ever, really. Cal against San Diego State, definitely a little bit of a worry because I thought they were going to be pretty good this season. They played like absolute poo-poo. They were horrible. And then, coming up, too, later in the season, we do go to Oklahoma this year to play Tulsa. And they had a very nice in-state win against Oklahoma State. We'll see if they build out that. They play Tulane this week. I don't know if Tulsa's truly that good of a football team. I think they had more motivation because they had a few former Oklahoma State guys on their roster, fire under their ass a little bit to get going. But that's an interesting storyline going into the rest of the season for Oregon State. If they can go to App State and compete, we'll get to that next week and all that stuff. But this game on Friday is huge, y'all. And even if they don't lose, I'm sorry, even if they don't win, we have to see improvement and they have to keep this game close. 13 and a half, in my opinion, is way too many points. There's some projections. I think the Cougars will win this game 34-18. That cannot happen. We cannot lose like that at home to a mid-tier Big 12 team. Okay, we got to start seeing some improvements on the scoreboard because every now and then, like we mentioned, we've seen it on the field in spurts. I need to see it on the scoreboard. That is it from us. Thank you for listening to Chainsaw Crew. We appreciate you guys. Go Beavs. As always, stay in the fight. Keep going. We'll see you next week.